Thank you for joining me for a brief introduction to ZOS Remote Services. I am Lisa Getz with Dovetail Technologies. In this session, we will first define ZOS Remote Services and then take a look at a few examples. One use case supported by the COSI Toolkit is ZOS Remote Services. Others are ZOS Enabled SFTP, ZOS Unix Batch Integration, and ZOS Hybrid Batch. What does ZOS Remote Services imply? Essentially, it enables ZOS services and data to be incorporated into standard workloads running on AIX, Linux, or Windows. Now, let's look at how the toolkit supports this use case. The COSI Dataset Pipes component of the toolkit is used to implement this use case. Dataset Pipes was the original and first component implemented for the toolkit. It was originally designed to support streaming ZOS datasets to and from Linux and Windows servers, giving the component its name of Dataset Pipes. The component has been updated along the way to include some general ZOS utilities, a write-to-operator utility, a command to search and display ZOS catalog information. Along with the COSI Launcher component, Dataset Pipes also supports the ZOS Hybrid Batch use case. And finally, it supports a ZOS Unix local-only mode. In other words, it supports running commands locally under the ZOS Unix shell and directed to the local server. Okay, let's look at how a basic command, Dataset Pipes command, from DSN supports a ZOS Remote Services use case. This command can be run on a Linux server. It connects to a ZOS host using SSH, streams the MyData dataset contents from ZOS, and by default converts EBCDIC characters to ASCII, saving the data in a Linux file called mydata.txt. A command like this can be run interactively or included in a scheduled workload. We have recently enhanced the COSI Dataset Pipes component further to more fully support ZOS Remote Services. A new command, COSI Control, has been added. To use this new feature, your ZOS server must be running COSI Toolkit Release 4.5 or later. Your Linux or Windows server must be installed with the Target System Toolkit Release 1.3 or later. The new COSI Control command enables a user or a script to start or stop a durable connection to a ZOS system. When the COSI Control command is executed on a Linux system, for example, it establishes a single SSH connection which authenticates and starts a Dataset Pipes server for the user on ZOS. This model is essentially ZOS Hybrid Batch in reverse because the process is initiated from the remote Linux or Windows client. Dataset Pipes provides commands to transfer files and datasets to and from ZOS. Also, the COSI client command can be used to remotely run a ZOS command. For example, the COSI client command can be run on a Linux server with the makedir command, which will create a directory on ZOS. It can also be run with a tso-delete command, for example, to remove a dataset. What about security? Dataset Pipes uses OpenSSH for network security, an industry standard. The ZOS Dataset Pipes server runs as a normal program under the ZOS user, in other words, using its standard RACF profile. When running a single command, like the first example we discussed, the from DSN command with the -SSH option, the data transferred is encrypted over SSH. When using COSI Control and running commands with a durable connection, there are two modes. By default, Dataset Pipes commands transfer data over a socket connection established by the Dataset Pipes subsystem. The data is not encrypted. This mode is useful within a secure data center and provides better performance. However, COSI Control can be configured to transfer data encrypted over the SSH connection using a tunnel option. We will look at both modes in an example next. Let's look at a simple example. As I mentioned, ZOS Remote Services is really ZOS Hybrid Batch in reverse. To illustrate this, I have taken the ZOS Hybrid Batch Hello World example recorded in another short video on our website and created a script using the same Dataset Pipes commands. This script can be executed on a Linux server. It writes a message to standard out. In a pipeline, it reads the contents of a dataset from ZOS, compresses the data using the Linux gzip command, and writes the compressed data back to ZOS as a POSIX file. We will look at the script next, but keep in mind that you can try this yourself. Download and install the Cozy Toolkit and the Target System Toolkit. There are no installation keys or registration required. And check out our Quick Start installation guide to get up and running. Here is my Hello World script that runs on the initiating Linux system. First, I set the logging level. By default, Cozy Log is set to N for notice. I've increased the logging level to I just to show more messages in the output. The first command is the Cozy Control Start command. The -SSH option identifies the target ZOS host and user. And note that the options provided after -SSH are normal SSH command options. For example, -VVV could be added for debugging SSH connection problems. The Cozy Client command is used to execute a command on ZOS. Here we are executing the uname command just to demonstrate which server the command runs on. Note the red Hello OS390 message in the output. The from DSN streams the dataset MyData to Linux using the default transfer options. Text conversion occurs from EBCDIC to ASCII. The data received is piped directly to the gzip command without storing the data locally on the Linux server. The zip data is then streamed to the dataset pipes toFile command, which writes to a ZOS POSIX file. The file is written in binary because of the -B switch on the command. Finally, the session is ended on using the Cozy Control Stop command. As you can see, the script output captures the data transfer statistics. This example is useful for moving data between systems within a secure data center because the transferred data is not encrypted. If the data must be encrypted during transfer, update the Cozy Control Start command adding the tunneling option -T. This option tunnels the session over SSH so that the data is encrypted. Due to the SSH options used to support this feature, OpenSSH 5.6 or later is required, and Windows is not supported. Here is another example, an even simpler example. The Cozy Control Start command is the same. The from DSN command transfers a dataset from ZOS and saves it to a local Linux file, out.file. Next, transfer in.file to a ZOS dataset, allocating the dataset in the process. The Cozy Client command is used to write a message to the operator, providing a completion message. On completion, the Cozy Control Stop command is issued. This next example is more complicated because it uses process substitution. SQL Loader is a utility used to load data into an Oracle database. The SQL Loader utility expects a file as input. Pipes and redirection cannot be used. We could transfer the dataset to a temporary file and provide the temporary file to SQL Loader, but process substitution is a much cleaner solution. Bash, process substitution, makes a command appear as a file. In this example, the command from DSN cusdata appears as an input file to the SQL Loader utility, and the to_dsn command appears as an output file. For more information, visit our website, where you'll find lots more examples, complete documentation. You can download the latest version of the toolkit and the Target System Toolkit, as well as view the ZOS hybrid batch video that I referenced. Or you can send comments and questions to info@dovetail.com. Thanks for joining us today.